Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is September 9, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 153 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every video on this channel, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from Denise24. As you can see, Denise is one of the top commenters on this channel. Denise, always appreciate your questions and comments. So Denise says, "Hi sir, thank you for your answers. Each day and time I got a welcoming letter from NVC. That's awesome. Like almost 5 weeks on now, I submitted my civil documents and AOS, adjustment of status. Still, NVC insisted on some additional documents on the AOS. I have provided them to be accepted, but haven't yet had a response now. So after this process, what's next?" And the graph that shows on the portal of getting to the interview part is everyone different visa class is F1, priority date is March 2017. And let's take a look at the actually graph A. March, is it really March 2017? No, it's actually January. It's actually January 2015. Wait, March 27. Maybe you're referring to the graph B. Or maybe that is your priority date. Okay, so I think you mentioning your own priority date, which is March 2017. So your F1 March 2017. So right now we are actually on January 2015, which means, wow, yeah, you still have quite some time to wait for the availability of the immigrant visa. So you're probably looking at roughly another 2 years before the interview. Hopefully we will see some better movement on the visa bulletin. Actually, the new one should be coming out in probably the next few days, the October 2023. But yeah, roughly you're still looking at some time. So really no rush for you. Take your time with the documentary qualification process. Make sure that everything is done correctly. Plus, looks like you are doing the adjustment of status. So Denise, if you're doing the adjustment of status, I'm assuming that you're already in the United States of America, if I'm understanding correctly, because the only way you can do both of them combined is if you are in the United States of America. So if you're not, please clarify what you mean by the AOS. But basically, to answer your question, it really is most of the stuff that you will have to be dealing with after becoming documentarily qualified is just waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa. Once it is available, the interview will be scheduled. Once the interview is scheduled, you will have to do your medical examination. Once you're done with medical examination, you go for the interview on the scheduled date. Hopefully everything goes well. You bring the same documents that you were documentarily qualified with, and if there were any major updates, you can bring them in a separate folder as well, just in case. And that's it. You go through the interview, you answer their questions, you get the I-551 stamp, the immigrant visa, and then that's it. Well, if you're outside of the United States, then you come here. But if you are in the United States, then you just get your adjustment of status and you get your permanent residence. But again, if you can clarify whether you're here or not, because it kind of does sound like at some points it sounds like you're here because you're doing the AOS, and sometimes it sounds like you are outside of the United States. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Doubtgayo 9749. Sorry, the YouTube no longer shows me names, it shows handles now for some reason. So there's two actually comments. So first one is, "Hi, where do we get this volume he keeps referring to?" On this channel, answering your immigration related questions. That's what it's called, the volumes, Q&A, and they are uploaded daily. And then the question is, "Thank you for the video. I have questions. I'm on a B1 visa. I wanted to change my status to F1 with a community college for nursing. What is the appropriate time to apply for a change of status?" So as soon as you are doing as soon as you are applying for your nursing program, as soon as you get the I-120, all your documents sorted out from the school, and you're accepted into the school, that's the moment you want to submit that change of status, the I-539 form with USCIS. What happened when the verdict of change of status didn't arrive within 6 months of my valid visa period? That's fine. It most likely will not. Most of the times it does not. But as long as you do have that I-539 pending, the change of status pending, that's it, that's fine, because you are here legally, because you're not just a visitor now, you are actually enrolled into a school, you're enrolled into a program, and you do have your valid I-20, which shows that you are now a student in the United States of America. So while that status is pending, that's fine. I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience and a little bit of kind of gives people insecurity that you're waiting for the status to be changed and you're kind of like in the air, or even if you're filing extension. I would say especially with an extension, if you don't know if it's going to be approved or not. But the good news is that most of the times these extensions and these changes of statuses, most of the times they are approved as long as everything is done correct, and it sounds like you are doing everything correctly. You found the school and everything, so should be good. Maybe in this case I might file for an extension of my B1, which is valid reason, but keep in mind I'm waiting for a change of status. No, you don't have to bother with that. You are just filing one application for a change of status from B1 to F1, and that's it. Like I said, once you get your I-120, you are a student in the United States of America. And as long as you file your I-539 and say that, hey guys, I'm switching from my B1 to F1, here's my I-20, here's all the school information, I am now a student, that should be fine. Even if the response does not arrive before your B1, duration of stay expires, you're still valid here because you have that pending change of status petition, which technically does not give you a legal right or a legal status or anything like that, but you can remain in the country legally because you are doing everything correctly, and you are, as long as you don't wait where your B1 expired, right? Your duration of stay on B1 expired, and then like a month later you apply for school and now you're a student and now you're filing for a change of status. And you had this, let's say, a month in between. That's not good because you had that time in between where you were out of status. Definitely not good. But it doesn't sound like that's your situation, so you should be fine. And how long will it take to receive the status? Well, to receive the response I-539, it's about a year now, and you can check the processing times on USCIS website. In the tools, I'll show you actually how to find it, and I'll put it in my response. So we're gonna go to case status online, and then my internet is pretty slow here. I'll have to figure something out because it's taking a little bit too long for these pages to open up. Yeah. There you go, case status online, and then you see USCIS processing times information. We're going to click on this page. It will give us a separate page. And actually, while it is loading, I might as well put an answer here. And your final question is, finally, what do you mean when you refer to volume 123? So volume 123 is the volume where I answer questions just like this. It is uploaded on this channel, and you can find it in the playlist. They're all there, called Answering Your Immigration Questions. So just like this, and your answer is going to be in the volume 153, which will be uploaded hopefully today, if my internet is fine, by 6 p.m. Eastern time. And they all go live at 6 p.m. Eastern every day, so that people are used to, they don't have to they know it's going to be 6 p.m. so they come out 6 p.m. Okay, so I'm gonna post the link here. And there you go, processing time. So here you will select the I-539, obviously, your application to extend change from category. So change of status to, let's see, change of status to F. There we go. So you're going to select that. And you will select your service center. Obviously, depending on where you are in the United States, your application will go to a different service center. You probably don't know which one it is yet, but once you submit your I-539 and receive the receipt, you will know. So you will be able to select. So let's say it's, for example, Texas. Let's see how long it takes in Texas. So 6 months. Actually, not bad at all. Texas, 6 months. Let's see, California. Okay, 6 months. So looks like USCIS is actually catching up, and it's no longer a year. No, they are actually 7.5 months. but roughly that's how long you will be waiting for your change of status to be approved. Which again, don't let that stress you out. Even if you're waiting for the change of status and your B1 duration of stay expired, you will be fine. Why? Because you do have this change of status petition pending, and you are enrolled into a school. You are enrolled into a program, so you are a student here, and you have submitted your change of status on time. Okay, so let me post the answer here as well, and we're gonna move on to the next question from user MT6TE. Sorry, handles. Is it possible to hire an immigration attorney from a different country? Immigration law is a federal law, right? So you can technically hire an attorney, an immigration attorney. Let's say if you live in Florida, you can hire an immigration attorney from California, technically. That is not recommended though, however. That is definitely not recommended. Why? Because, well, first of all, one of the main reasons why you would want to hire an immigration attorney, if you have a court proceeding, immigration attorney goes to the court and represents you in the court. And a lot of times, if you do find someone who is experienced immigration attorney, they already have established relationships with judges, with everyone, right, in the court. So they go, oh, judge, whatever, how are you? We have today this guy, I'm representing this guy today. He's, you get the point. So if you're getting somebody from California to Florida, the Californian comes to Florida and stands in front of the Florida judge, which is still it's federal because immigration law is federal, but still, so you still have that disconnect between the people. So definitely not recommended. Well, as far as different country, I don't think you can even do that at all, because in order to be represented by an attorney, they have to be accredited by bar of each state. And like I said, you can, because it's a federal law, you can do it between the states, but it's not recommended. I don't think you can do it from a different country, and I would highly not recommend doing it, especially from a different. I don't recommend doing it between the states, and I don't even, I don't think you can do that. But you can probably find someone who maybe is experienced and might give you a good advice, but again, really, I would not recommend that. Now, if you are referring to hiring an immigration attorney from another country where you're hiring an immigration attorney here in the United States of America and you are in another country, then yes, absolutely, you can definitely do that. It's not going to be easy, let me tell you that, because whenever it comes to, immigration law in general and dealing with attorneys, you have to, a lot of people are under impression that, you hire an immigration attorney and then they do everything for you. And that's not the case, because you have to be familiar with the case. You have to be familiar with the process. You have to participate actively. So it might be really, really hard if you are dealing with an attorney simply over the phone or over the email, especially from another country. It might be really, really hard, and you might run into some troubles. So depending on the situation, if you absolutely need someone, you're not here, and you absolutely need someone to represent your interests in the, whenever it comes to immigration related issues, then yes, you can definitely do that. But expect some, it's not going to be easy. So hopefully I was able to answer your questions. Let me pause the answer, and we're going to move on to the next one from Tinka Ham 930. Dear sir, my brother who is currently in custody in River Correctional Center, Louisiana. His credible fear interview has been failed by the judge. Now what can we do next? Please give me information. I will be thankful to you. Tinka, so thank you very much for your question. I really appreciate it. So I would say, this is a serious situation. This is not something you just ask someone online and then they just give you an advice. And no, this is not one of those situations. You definitely need to seek legal help from someone who's very, very experienced. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be expensive. But you do need experience. You do need legal representation, because we are talking about, I mean, I don't know the details of your case, why your brother is in correctional center, what happened, and why judge failed his interview. I'm assuming that was interview for asylum, but if it is for asylum, as far as I know, as of right now, there is no appeal process for these asylum cases, especially when stuff like this is involved. So most likely, your brother is looking at deportation. So again, I'm not the one you want to ask these questions. I don't have expertise in dealing with correctional centers or serious stuff like this. I mean, this is free immigration help channel. I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not any kind of immigration practitioner or anything like this. So yeah, I would definitely recommend reaching out and finding actual immigration attorney for this situation. So let me post the response, and we're gonna move on to the next one from user Go8RP1MP5Y. Sorry, I wish it was showing me the names, but okay. Hello, I just wanted to give you an update on my husband case. I talked to you about it about 2 months ago. My husband is from Nigeria. He was documentarily qualified back in September of 2022, so 1 year has been. I tried to contact my local state official, which I did, and no good results came from it, sorry. But I waited about 4 months later, and they sent my husband his interview date 60 days before his interview. Nice. After waiting 11 months after being documentarily qualified, I just wanted to say thank you for your help, and all those who are waiting, just be patient and your interview date will come. Thank you again. Awesome. Yes, I thank you very much for sharing. I really, really appreciate you sharing this, because it's one thing to hear questions from people and realizing that you're not the only one in some kind of situation and other people are going through situations. But it's really nice to hear resolutions like this. You see, it's been quite a long time. It's almost a year waiting. Almost a year waiting for an interview. And actually in this case, as you can see, one of those interesting cases where the interview was scheduled 60 days before the actual interview date, which not scheduled but announced, right? It was announced to a person 60 days before the actual interview date, which, like I said, most of the times is 30 days for the medical examination. So congratulations, and I hope it all goes well. Once your husband gets the immigrant visa, please do come back to this channel and I'm sure everybody will be happy to hear that it all went well. But yes, as of right now, it's just a medical examination. I'd recommend doing that as soon as possible, and then just the interview. Make sure to bring all of the documents that you have submitted for your documentary qualification, and if there were any major updates, any major changes, like for example in the financial manner or whatever, have them in a separate folder and bring it for an interview as well, just in case if the questions come up. You can always explain the situation. Okay, so let me post the response actually here. And we're gonna move on to the next one from Masood Khan 3287. Thanks for your advice, brother. Definitely, I will let you know as soon as I get interview date. Regards, Masood. Sounds great. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one from Nawai Wadat 6619. Hello, you're doing a good job helping and guarding the people of various categories. Thank you so much for kind words. I think you should conduct a live session regarding expedited requests to cover all the grounds and aspects. It will help many people how to proceed with it. Also add to discuss I-730 in your sessions. Thanks. Sounds good. I was planning to do live for quite a long time, but I still need to figure out how to make this happen because, well, first of all, it's problem with the time. Making sure that it happens same time every day, and these videos I record like a morning before the 6 p.m. and they can go live 6 p.m. all the time, so that's a little easier. But if I do live, I have to be set for certain hours, so which is I can't do right now at the moment because of work. So we will see. I'll try it. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you for suggestion, and I'll try to make this happen. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Andrea Onimek. Okay, 38. 6:46 p.m. New York time. All documents were accepted and fees were paid to NVC July 2021 is my priority date. Okay, so your priority date is July 2021, but still not documentarily qualified letter. I am in the IR1 category. What should I expect? Okay, so you are... Okay, so your priority date is July 2021. That's when your I-130 petition was accepted by USCIS. Okay, and you're still not documentarily qualified, which is over 2 years now. So I am gonna... So all the documents were accepted and fees were paid by the NVC. So they are 6:46 p.m. New York time. So I'm assuming they were just accepted by the NVC like yesterday, like 2 days ago. If I understand correctly, and if I don't, please correct me. So usually in most of the cases, it takes about 3 months for NVC to review your submitted documents. If everything has been submitted, give it about 3 months. Hopefully, if everything is good, if everything that was submitted, because it's normal for a little bit of back and forth. It's normal for... I had it. In my cases, a little bit of a back and forth. They needed extra translation, they needed extra stuff, and it came back, so I had to resubmit it, and then But if on the first shot, if first time you submit everything and it is accepted and it is reviewed and approved, I mean, that's fantastic. You're documentarily qualified. Because you're in IR1, immediate relative category, it means that your immigrant visa is already available. So once you're documentarily qualified, immediately they just transfer the case to the US Embassy, and then US Embassy schedules the interview. Again, it might take another, 6 months easily for, the interview, because, obviously there are people that are waiting for their interview now, so you will be like waiting for your line in getting that immigrant visa. But it's at that point it's just really patience. It's waiting because you are already documentarily qualified. So hopefully it goes well. But if you do have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to come back to this channel and ask them here, and I will be happy. I'll try to address them, and because some of the questions I cannot get on time, but I'll try to address as many as possible. Okay, moving further, user says hi. Let's move on to the next one from Vali DH1587. My priority date has already passed 2 months ago. Islamabad Embassy has not given an interview date yet, although I emailed the NVC about it, but they said you have to wait. Of course, not mention how long, of course. It's F3 reunification petition. We are from Afghanistan, living in Pakistan, and waiting for more than almost 16 years. Yeah, still waiting for an interview. My children aged out and they are now over 21. Parole also applied since 7 months ago, but no response from USCIS yet. So Vali, you probably are familiar with the processing times on USCIS. Definitely check out. I'm not sure how long does those, and even if we do have the, let's see, if we can find that application for temporary protected status. There you go, I-821 from category. Wait a second, come on, man. There you go. So Afghanistan, initial, the very first one. Vermont Service Center. Let's see how long these take. So 9 months. 9 months, and you've been waiting already for 7 months. So that's good news for you. So you're about 2 months away. Again, this is 80% of the cases. Keep that in mind. So 20% of the cases, they either faster or they're slower. So don't be surprised if it takes longer. Now, going back to your family reunification petition, it's only been 2 months since your priority date has been current. I understand, you've been waiting for a very, very long time. But you also have to keep in mind that it is once your priority date becomes current that the US Embassy schedules the interview. And depending on how many people were waiting in line, you might potentially wait another, 3, 4, 5, 6 months before you actually get that interview notice. You might wait for quite a long time because depending on how many people before you are waiting for their immigrant visa interview. So It's inconvenience, obviously, but at the same time, I want to let you know that I think you are doing pretty good, even though it's upsetting that your children aged out. But on the plus side, on the huge plus side, your priority date is already current. Okay, so now you're just waiting for an interview. Just a little bit more patience, and you will have your interview. And also, you do have this opportunity with a temporary protected status, with the parole from Afghanistan that you have been waiting already for 7 months, and roughly another 2 months that you have to wait, and that petition will come back. So you do have options, more options than I would say most of the people. So just a little bit more patience. It's really coming, and you're doing pretty good. And I'm really glad that you did file that petition for the TPS. I think it's definitely a good thing to kind of have kind of like a backup option and see which one works out faster. So yeah, just please do come back to this channel once you do hear back from either or. It will be definitely, I think, interesting for everyone. For me at least, definitely be interesting to see how it all works out for you. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Tinka Ham. So Tinka says, sir, how can we contact you? Again, I've already responded to this, so I'll just do this. But I don't provide any kind of services, any kind of consultation outside of this channel. I am not, on this channel, I'm not selling services. I'm not doing this so that, my name. Nobody even knows my name. And nobody needs to, honestly, really, because I'm not promoting myself. I'm not promoting my business. I am doing this because this is the path that God put in front of me. I went through it myself, and I have been involved in a lot of different cases. A lot of friends I was able to help out, a lot of relatives I was able to help out with the immigration, and just people that that asked me questions. Unfortunately, I did have to deal with some really bad experiences throughout my path, and these experiences, they made me stronger. They made me, encouraged me to do my own research, to learn stuff myself, and kind of have as much of a control as possible, even though we're not in control of anything, but at least knowing, where to find information, where to look at. And, with all of this, I have to give it back, I have to give it back. So that's why I'm doing this channel. So if you have any questions, with that being said, just post them in the comments on any of the videos on this channel, and I will get to it sooner or later. And if I don't get, if it's like a week, 2 weeks, and I didn't get to it, please repost it, because YouTube, it just, the comments, I get a lot of comments, and they, sometimes I'm not able to catch up with all of them. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Chrysler Ford GM. Hello there, thank you for the videos. You're very welcome, thank you for watching. My question is about naturalization. I had a green card since 2013, so we are in 2023. Oh wow, you have 10 years. For 10 years, but did multiple trips outside the US, and now I'm applying for citizenship. Congratulations. And one of the requirements is to have a presence in the US for at least 30 months. 30 months, yep. So, does my presence before the last 5 years, an example, before 2018, count towards the 30 months? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yes, it's actually a great question. Thank you for bringing this up. So, yes, this duration of time that you have to have a presence in the United States of America, right, is within the scope of you being a permanent resident. Not the duration of your green card, which is, yes, 5 years. They give it for 5 years. After 5 years it expires. But the durations of how long you have been a permanent resident. Now, regarding the last 5 years, that is an interesting question. And in order to give you a correct answer, I am actually going to go and verify that. So we're going to go to Forms. Okay, at least this one is loading fast. We're 485, which is the... oh, never mind. So this is the application for permanent residence. We did need 400, which is the N400, naturalization. There we go. And I want to take a look in the instructions and make sure that there is no requirement whenever it comes to the past 5 years. because that might be the case as well. I know it's the duration of your permanent residence that is very, very important, but let's actually check eligibility here as well, because you can find the answers here, I'm sure, and you would be able, oh, there you go, general eligibility requirements. So you're at least 18, you're a permanent resident of the United States for a required period of time, yes, you have lived within the United States, the US or USS districts where you claim residence for at least 3 months prior to filing. Okay, you have demonstrated physical presence within the United States for a required period of time. You've demonstrated consistent residence for a required period of time. You demonstrate good moral character, blah, 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 blah. So they say all of these things about the period of time, but they're not actually saying how long that period of time is. So let's see if we can find detailed information on the period of time. Maybe not here. Let's see here. Determine my eligibility. Because sometimes they do have the separate. Were you born parents when you're okay, so I have to go through this. Were one or both of your parents a US citizen when you were born? No. Let's just go through this because I really am curious. Under 18. Are you older? Next. Are you a member? No. Are you a lawful permanent resident? Yes. A lawful permanent resident is someone who has been permanent resident in the United States. Immigration doesn't normal. Okay, so that doesn't say the date. Are you a lawful permanent? When did you become a lawful permanent resident? Before December 8, 2018. In your case, yes. Before December 18. Between. No, so you're definitely before. Okay. Let's see. That's actually pretty good. Have you left the United States in the past 5 years? So that sounds like you did. So we're going to do yes. Next. Have any of your trips outside of the United States been longer than 6 months? Which you probably already know that if they are over 6 months, then actually no, it's over a year that you do need to get your advanced parole. But we'll say no for this one. What if we say yes? What's going to happen? Let's see. Because I'm kind of curious. Select the statements that apply to you. I'm an employee or individual under contract. I'm preferred minister. No, I have been employed for 5 years or more by U.S. nonprofit institution. No, none of these apply to me. Next. Select the statements of U.S. Armed Forces. None of these apply to me. Are you a U.S. national? No. You may not be eligible to apply for naturalization at this time. Okay, so I definitely did something wrong. Let me take a look in the instructions. So let's click on the learn more about the path. There you go. Okay, so this is the page that we've been looking for. I will post this link in the comment because as you can see, it takes some time to find it somewhere on this website. So I'm pretty sure that it is out of the last 5 years. This 30 months, so 30 months, it's, let's see, so it's a little bit over, so it's almost 3 years, a little bit less than 3 years, out of the last 5 years. So not the whole duration of you being a lawful permanent resident, but the last 5 years immediately before filing the N-400. And here it is. Where is this? Should be somewhere here. Show you have been, that's it. Show you have been physically present in the United States for at least 30 months out of the 5 years immediately before the date you file form N-400. So that right there answers your question. So if you did, then, you know, at least 30 months, then you will be completely fine. But if over 30 months, then you would have to wait a little bit more and maintain your presence here. Again, keep in mind, most of the times what they look at whenever it comes to naturalization is you actually living here in the United States of America. That's what's important to them. If they see that, you know, you're just coming in and out and you don't really have, you know, bank account, you don't have, you know, your address is all over the place, and then of course it looks a little bit sketchy to them. But if you do have, you know, your address is the same and you have your work, you have, you know, employment, you're filing taxes, you have a bank and all of that kind of stuff that, you know, people who live here do, then you should be fine. But again, to be on the safe side, make sure that your presence here in the United States, physical presence, was 30 months, 5 years immediately before. So I'm gonna post that link. I'm gonna post the response here. Let's see if I can do that. There you go. And link. to this. And really thank you for bringing this up, because you see, for me that was definitely something learning experience as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in today to this video. Really appreciate it. If you have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. Just make sure if you do ask them in the comments below, don't respond to my comment within your comment, because then I'm not going to see that question. Just submit them as a separate comment on any of the videos. But thank you very much for watching. Always appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.